Welcome to today's training on how to hire an appointment setter. So this process is actually a lot more simple than you may think. I created this SOP document. I'll link this below for you to be able to check out. So the first thing we're going to do is join up to 3 different Facebook groups that are themed or based around hiring sales positions. So you'll see a lot of terms like setter, closer, sales professionals, things of that nature. Whenever you see a group that has at least a couple thousand members, if not more, and is themed around hiring sales positions, go ahead and join, like I said, up to 3 of those groups. And then number 2, we're going to make a post similar to this. Obviously, you could use this exact same thing if you wanted to, but my preference would be that, you tweak it, spice it up a little bit with your own preferences, things of that nature. So regardless, though, feel free to use this exact post if you need to. And then number 3, interestingly enough, we only want to engage with setters that message us directly. So even if your message doesn't say send me a DM directly, it just says comment below, you want to see who the ambitious people are that are actually going to be reaching out to you, because guess what? That's what a setter has to do anyways, is reach out to people via the DMs. Okay, so then anyways, once someone has reached out and engaged with you directly, we want them to respond to the following questions. And the way that we're going to do this is, I don't know if you can see over here, but it says it's optional. This is my preference. I like to have them create a video, like, so I could see their face responding to the next 3 questions. Okay, but if you don't want to have them take the time to record the video, or you don't want to take the time to watch the video yourself, then just ask them these questions. So have you any experience? Like, what is your experience? And make sure you include, like, to have them tell you in detail. You don't just want to say, like, I've been a setter for 3 years. Great. Where have you been setting? What kind of appointments have you been setting for? Things of that nature. So make sure that they give you detail. And then we also want to include that this is not a deal breaker if they don't have any current experience. Okay, so even if they don't have current experience, it's not a deal breaker. Just let them know. And obviously, then it's your preference whether or not you want to work with that person or not. So the second question is, are you prepared to work 7 to 8 hours a day, 5 days a week? And I mean, my preference is to have them check in over the weekends too. I don't require it, but that's always my preference because I'd rather not have people go 2 or 3 days without being responded to, right? And then the third prompt that we'll ask them to reply to is, are you happy to agree that this will be your full-time responsibility and you will not be running another business on the side? Now, here's why I share this, because you'll get people who are qualified that have the necessary skill set and talent to be able to do this, but it is clear that you are basically just like a stepping stone for them on their own, journey or path as an entrepreneur, which, like, that's fine to those individuals, but I mean, and obviously this is ultimately your preference, but we're more so looking for the individual that wants to come and be with us full time, long term. For example, like when we ask them during our phone or Zoom interview, where do you see yourself 3 to 5 years from now? You want people that respond something with working within your organization, right? If they're talking about running their own business or doing real estate or this, that, or the other thing, probably not a good fit. Okay. But anyways, so that's number 3. Number 4, we kind of started to dive into, but once you find the people that have responded the appropriate ways that you'd like to these prompts, then go ahead and schedule either a phone or Zoom call with them, and you'll want to role play. Okay, so once again, you're probably going to want to block out about 45 minutes or so, maybe an hour, depending on how much time you want to take. That's why it's important that you vet people out more thoroughly with these questions before you just get on a call. And then when you do, you always want to start off with having them tell you about yourself after you set expectations for the call, because it's interesting. You can tell a lot about a person by what they choose to tell you when you simply say, tell me about yourself. Okay. I always like to ask questions about them and their preferences. So what are you looking for in a workplace environment or center position or whatever position you're hiring for? Okay, have them describe to you what their ideal work environment looks like, because if you know that, like, your company culture and the environment that you've created is not a good fit based off of what their goals and aspirations are, doesn't make sense to move forward, right? Once again, we already talked about the where do you see yourself 3 to 5 years from now question. That's just to make sure that they're in alignment. They're looking at this as like a long-term relationship and you're not just a stepping stone for them. Okay. And then the other thing I always make sure we do is discuss your expectations for the role, for the position. And I even put a little note here. I like to discuss some core values, or like your mission statement, things of that nature that help set the expectations clear as to what your company is all about to the setter. okay, or to the potential team member. But regardless, you want to set expectations for the position itself, including the work hours that they'll be doing and the compensation that they'll be receiving. Okay, so once you go through all of these things, if you still feel like it's a good fit, the very next step would be to go ahead and have them sign the onboarding agreement. And I'll go ahead and hyperlink that in here. That way you can just click, see what it is that we're using, and be able to make a copy of your own. And then once they sign that agreement, just go ahead and get them access to your internal training, and you'll be off to the races, my friend. Talk soon.